The large meeting chamber fell silent as Commander Ilara stepped up to the speaking platform. Her blue skin shimmered under the bright lights as she looked at the gathered representatives. 50 different alien species sat in the curved rows before her. Most important were the Vexnar delegates in the front row, their scaled faces showing no emotion. The council has called this emergency meeting for one reason, Ilara said, her voice firm. The Vexnar Confederation must cease all plans regarding the humans of Earth. Ambassador Zulfar of the Vexnar rose from his seat. His tall, thin body towered over the other delegates. We have done nothing against these humans, he said. They remain unaware of galactic society, as all primitive species should. Ilara's 4 eyes narrowed. Our intelligence suggests otherwise. Your scout ships have been seen near their outer planets. Your scientists have collected data on their military capabilities. The large screen behind her lit up, showing images of Earth's cities, weapons, and space vehicles. Humans may seem primitive compared to our civilizations, Ilara continued. Their technology is young. They have only visited their own moon and sent simple probes to nearby planets. But do not be fooled. She pressed a button, and the screen changed to show human history. Soldiers in different time periods, fighting against overwhelming odds. Scientists working in small labs, making world-changing discoveries. In just 300 years, they advanced from simple steam engines to nuclear power and space travel. No other known species has evolved technologically at this rate. Zulfar waved his hand dismissively. Speed of development means little. Their weapons are no match for even our smallest vessels. It is not just their technology that makes humans dangerous, Ilara said. It is their nature. When threatened, most species surrender to superior force. Humans do not. They fight harder when the odds are against them. The screen showed more images. Humans rescuing others from burning buildings, soldiers throwing themselves on explosives to save comrades, civilians standing against armed forces. They call it bravery, Ilara explained. We would call it irrational. But this unpredictable behavior makes them formidable opponents. Councillor Drez of the Moldovan Union spoke up. Commander Ilara speaks the truth. My people observed Earth for 50 years. We witnessed their global conflicts. Even when defeat seemed certain, some human forces continued fighting for years. They adapt quickly, using whatever resources they have available. Zulfar's scales darkened with anger. The Vexnar are not afraid of primitives who can barely leave their own atmosphere. Our empire spans 27 star systems. We have conquered species far more advanced than these humans. Ilara remained calm. Those species fought conventionally. Humans do not. When outmatched, they use what they call guerrilla tactics. They strike quickly and disappear. They use deception and misdirection. They target supply lines instead of armies. She walked closer to the Vexnar delegation. We have coexisted peacefully with humans for generations by respecting their boundaries. Our scientists study them from a distance. We have rules against interference for good reason. The Vexnar Confederation does not bow to the Council's rules, Zulfar said. If we wish to explore the resources of the human system, we will do so. The chamber erupted in voices. Many species had strong opinions about Earth. Some feared humans would eventually become a threat to galactic peace. Others believed they should be protected until they were ready to join wider society. Ilara raised her hand for silence. When the room quieted, she spoke directly to Zulfar. The Council has voted. Earth and its system remain protected space. No Vexnar ships are permitted within 1 light-year of their star. Violation of this restriction will be met with sanctions against your worlds. Zulfar stood taller, his long neck extending to its full height. The Confederation acknowledges your vote, Commander, but we will proceed according to our interests. As the Vexnar delegation left the chamber, Ilara spoke one final time, her voice carrying to all present. Ignore our warnings at your peril, Ambassador. Those who have underestimated humans rarely live to regret their mistake. The words hung in the air as the chamber doors closed. The meeting was over, but everyone knew this matter was far from resolved. Captain Adam Russell stared at the vast darkness of space through the main viewing window of the horizon. His ship was the newest deep space explorer in Earth's small fleet. They had been traveling for 3 months, mapping uncharted areas near the Cygnus constellation. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Olivia Grant, her eyes fixed on her communication screen. "It's not one of ours." Russell walked over to her station. "What do you mean?" "This signal. It's not matching any known patterns. It's not from Earth or any of our outposts." The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what this might mean. "How far?" Russell asked. "About 200,000 kilometers in closing," replied Navigation Officer Paul Winters. "Whatever it is, it's moving fast." Russell straightened his uniform. After years of space exploration, this could be the moment humanity had both hoped for and feared. "First contact." "Battle stations," he ordered calmly. "Not because I expect trouble, but because I want everyone alert." The crew moved quickly to their positions. Russell wasn't taking chances, but he didn't want to appear hostile either. "There it is," said Winters, pointing at the screen. A ship appeared, unlike anything they had seen before. It was sleek and silver, with no visible engines. It was smaller than the horizon, but looked far more advanced. "Open a channel on all frequencies," Russell ordered. "Use the first contact protocol." Olivia nodded and began broadcasting the carefully prepared message that all Earth ships carried. It contained basic mathematical sequences and simple greeting images designed to communicate peaceful intentions to any intelligent life. To everyone's surprise, the response came quickly and in perfect English. "Earth vessel, this is Scout Ship Zeta of the Vexnar Confederation. State your purpose in this sector." Russell glanced at Olivia, who looked as shocked as he felt. "They speak English." "They must have been studying us," she whispered. Russell leaned toward the communication system. "This is Captain Adam Russell of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon. We are on a peaceful mission to chart this region of space." There was a brief pause. "Transmitting visual," said the alien voice. The main screen flickered, and the image of a tall, thin humanoid appeared. Its skin was covered in fine green scales, and its neck was long and flexible. 4 slitted yellow eyes blinked at them. "I am Sub-Commander Vexker," the alien said. "You are far from your home system, humans." "We are expanding our knowledge of space," Russell replied carefully. "May I ask how you know our language?" The alien made a gesture that might have been amusement. "We have studied many developing worlds. Your transmissions are quite noisy." Chief Science Officer Ben Harper moved closer to the captain. "They've been monitoring our broadcasts," he whispered. "Television, radio, internet. They probably know everything about us." Russell nodded slightly. "We welcome peaceful contact with your people, Sub-Commander. This is a historic moment for humanity." "Indeed," said Vexker. Something in the alien's tone made Russell uneasy. "You have ventured beyond your prescribed boundaries." "Prescribed boundaries?" Russell asked. "We were not aware of any boundaries." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Interesting. Where exactly are you from, Captain?" "Earth, 3rd planet from our sun, which you might know as Sol." At the mention of Earth, the alien's posture changed subtly. Vexker turned to speak to someone off-screen, then faced them again. "Our mission here is complete. We will depart now." "Wait," said Russell. "Perhaps we could exchange information, establish diplomatic." The connection cut off. On the main screen, they watched as the alien ship turned and accelerated away at incredible speed. "What just happened?" asked Olivia. Russell frowned. "I don't know, but I don't like it. They seemed surprised to find us here, then concerned when they learned we're from Earth." Unknown to the humans, Sub-Commander Vexker was already sending an encrypted message to the Confederation fleet. "Humans have ventured beyond their system. The primitives advance faster than expected. Recommend immediate containment action as discussed in Operation Harvest." The Horizon continued its mission, its crew excited about their first alien encounter. completely unaware of the danger now heading toward Earth. Lieutenant Commander Eric Daniels was finishing his coffee when the alarm started blaring throughout Lunar Defense Station. He rushed to his monitoring station, spilling hot coffee on his uniform. "What's happening?" he asked, sliding into his chair. "Multiple objects just appeared near Jupiter," responded Technician Lisa Rodriguez. "They weren't there 3 minutes ago. It's like they just appeared." Daniel stared at the radar screen. 30 large objects were moving quickly toward Earth. They had somehow bypassed all the early warning systems. "This can't be right," he said. "Run a system check." "Already did, sir. Everything is working correctly. Those ships are real." Daniels reached for the emergency communication link. "This is Lunar Defense. We have unidentified vessels approaching Earth. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Across the planet, defense forces scrambled into action. In Washington, D.C., Defense Secretary William Harding rushed into the Oval Office, where President Catherine Powell was meeting with her advisors. "Madam President, we have a situation," he said. "Unknown spacecraft have entered our solar system. They're moving faster than anything we've ever seen." President Powell stood up. "Are we in contact with them?" "We're trying, but they're not responding to any messages." The large screen on the wall showed the approaching ships. As they watched, the vessels split into smaller groups, heading toward different parts of Earth. "They're taking up attack positions," said General Ramirez, the Joint Chiefs Chairman. "This is a military formation." President Powell's face hardened. "How long until they reach us?" "Less than 30 minutes. Get me Captain Russell on the horizon," she ordered. "They reported contact with aliens 3 weeks ago. I want to know if these are the same ones." Before anyone could respond, the first reports of attacks came in. The alien ships had opened fire on military bases in North America, Asia, and Europe. "We're under attack," General Ramirez confirmed grimly. "Launch all defensive measures," ordered President Powell, "and get our people to safety." At the Global Defense Coordination Center, communications specialist Samantha Kelly worked frantically to establish contact between scattered military units. The aliens had first targeted communication centers, making it difficult to organize a response. "Mars Colony reports they're under attack too," she called out. "Same with the Europa Research Station." Colonel Jack Wilson looked at the tactical display. "They're hitting every military installation and off-world colony simultaneously. This is no random attack. They knew exactly where to strike." Outside major cities, people watched as strange ships filled the sky. Panic spread as the first energy weapons hit urban centers. Emergency services were overwhelmed within hours. In orbit, Earth's small fleet of defense satellites and ships tried to fight back. They were heavily outmatched by the alien technology. "We've lost contact with the Pacific Defense Grid," reported Samantha. "Asian Command is trying to coordinate a counterattack with what they have left." Colonel Wilson studied the attack pattern. "They're going after our military first, then infrastructure. They're not randomly destroying cities. This is a calculated takeover, not total destruction." At the Pentagon, what remained of the military leadership gathered in the underground command center. The building above had taken heavy damage. "What do we know about these aliens?" asked Admiral Peterson. "Based on Captain Russell's report, they call themselves the Vexnar," replied Secretary Harding. "They seemed peaceful during first contact, but obviously that was a lie." "Our conventional weapons are barely damaging their ships," said General Ramirez. "But we've had some success with guerrilla tactics. Hit and run attacks. They don't seem prepared for that kind of fighting." Secretary Harding looked at the battle reports. "We need to get word to all remaining forces. Don't engage in direct confrontation. Use asymmetric warfare. Strike and disappear. We can't match their technology, but we can make this occupation costly for them." As night fell across America, the Vexnar controlled the skies, but humans were already adapting. In small groups, military and civilians alike began organizing resistance. They might be outgunned, but they weren't giving up. The real war was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the Vexnar invaded Earth. They now controlled most major cities, but their hold was far from secure. Every day, resistance fighters struck back, using the knowledge of their home territory to their advantage. Ryan Collins wiped sweat from his forehead as he looked through binoculars at the alien outpost below. Before the invasion, he had been a Marine Corps sergeant. Now he led 30 fighters in the Appalachian Mountains. They'd got 4 guards on the east side. He whispered to his team. 2 patrol vehicles. Their shift changes in 20 minutes, said Linda Reeves, his second in command. That's our window. Collins nodded. Their target was a Vexnar communications relay. Taking it down would disrupt alien operations across 3 states. More importantly, they needed the technology inside. Remember, he told his fighters, we need those transmitters intact. Dr. Bennett's team is counting on us. 200 miles away, in an underground lab hidden beneath an abandoned factory, Dr. Nicole Bennett was working on their best hope for fighting back. She had been a physicist before the invasion. Now she led a team of scientists trying to understand Vexnar technology. Hand me that circuit board, she said to her assistant, Carl Dawson. I think I've figured out how their shields work. Really? Carl looked excited. That would be huge. Nicole nodded as she carefully examined the alien component. Their energy fields operate on principles similar to our electromagnetic theories, but with variations we never considered. If I'm right, we might be able to modify our weapons to penetrate their defenses. Their lab was one of dozens operating across the country. In the early days of the occupation, the remaining government leaders had realized that conventional resistance wasn't enough. They needed to understand the enemy's technology. In what was once a suburban home outside Chicago, intelligence officer Jason Martinez worked with a team of former computer experts. They had captured a Vexnar data terminal 3 weeks earlier. I think I've cracked another section of their language, he said, looking up from his computer. They use a base 12 numerical system, which is why their code seemed so random at first. His colleague, Denise Wong, looked over his shoulder. What does it say? It's a communication between their field commanders. They're complaining about resistance activities. Listen to this part. The humans are not behaving according to standard conquest protocols. They should have surrendered after the initial defeats. Denise smiled. They expected us to give up. There's more, Jason continued. They're requesting additional forces because they're having trouble holding territory. They've never faced an enemy that keeps fighting after their military infrastructure is destroyed. Meanwhile, in orbit, a sleek ship with strange markings approached Earth carefully, avoiding Vexnar patrols. It wasn't from Earth or the Vexnar Confederation. The vessel belonged to the Galactic Council. Inside, Commander Ilara watched the battle-scarred planet on her view screen. The Vexnar attacked 6 months ago, reported her aide. They control the major population centers, but face constant resistance. Human fighters have adapted quickly to guerrilla warfare. As I warned them, Ilara said quietly, the Council is divided on intervention. Half believe we should stay out of this conflict, and the other half. They recognize that the Vexnar violated our laws by attacking a developing world. Some wish to help the humans. How can we help without starting a galactic war? Her aide asked. Ilara touched a container holding advanced technology. We can provide knowledge. These humans are remarkably adaptive. Their scientists are already beginning to understand Vexnar systems through captured equipment. With proper guidance, they might develop countermeasures much faster. Back in the Appalachian Mountains, Collins and his team successfully captured the communications relay. As they downloaded its data and planted explosives, Collins found something unexpected, a Vexnar officer's personal log. Hours later, when they returned to their hidden base, Collins played the translation for everyone. We were told these humans would surrender quickly, the alien voice said. Instead, they fight from the shadows, strike without warning, and disappear. Our soldiers fear patrols now. This was supposed to be a simple resource harvesting operation. No one mentioned these primitives would be so relentless. Despite their hardships, the resistance fighters smiled. The aliens were beginning to understand what it meant to fight humans. Dr. Nicole Bennett couldn't believe her eyes. Standing in front of her was a blue-skinned alien who looked nothing like the Vexnar. 4 large eyes blinked at her from a face that seemed almost gentle. "I am Thera, diplomat of the Galactic Council," the alien said in perfect English. "We have come to help." Ryan Collins kept his gun pointed at the visitor. "Why should we trust you? How do we know you're not working with the Vexnar?" "The Vexnar violated our laws by attacking your world," Thera explained. "The Council warned them not to interfere with Earth. Some Council members now wish to provide assistance." Collins looked at Dr. Bennett, unsure. Nicole stepped forward. "What kind of help can you offer?" she asked. Thera opened a case she had brought. Inside were devices unlike anything they had seen before. "Technology and knowledge," she said. "Ways to fight the Vexnar. We cannot openly join your war, but we can guide you." After hours of discussion and proof of Thera's claims, the resistance leaders decided to accept the Council's help. Nicole's team received advanced scientific information that would have taken them years to discover on their own. Chief Engineer Patricia Garcia examined the alien devices with wonder. "This will change everything," she said, holding up a small power source. "With this, we can create weapons that can penetrate their shields." In the following weeks, resistance cells across Earth received new equipment and knowledge. Humans combined the Council's technology with their own innovations, creating hybrid weapons unlike anything the Vexnar had faced before. Meanwhile, in orbit, Fleet Commander Gregory Walsh gathered the remains of Earth's space forces. Before the invasion, he had commanded a space station. Now he led a strange collection of vessels, retrofitted civilian ships, damaged military craft, and even a few captured Vexnar scout ships. "The Vexnar don't expect an attack from space," he told his officers. "They think they've destroyed our orbital capabilities." His second-in-command, Captain Lisa Chen, pointed to a display showing the alien fleet. "We're still outnumbered 10-1. Walsh smiled. "But now we have Council technology to even the odds, and they don't know we have it. Plus, humans are good at being sneaky." On a Vexnar command ship, Supreme Commander Zolvar received disturbing reports. "What do you mean we lost another outpost? How can these primitives be defeating our forces?" The officer reporting looked nervous. "They have new weapons, sir. Somehow they've developed technology that can bypass our shields, and their attacks are becoming more coordinated." Zolvar smashed his fist on a console. "Impossible. They are savages with simple weapons. How could they advance so quickly?" "There's more," the officer continued. "Our sensors detected unusual energy signatures during their attacks. Some of this technology doesn't match human development patterns." The commander's eyes narrowed. "The Council. They must be helping them. Send a message to the homeworld. We need reinforcements." Back on Earth, Nicole Bennett worked with Thera to create a new communication system. This network would allow resistance forces worldwide to coordinate their attacks for the first time. "Your people learn remarkably fast," Thera commented, watching Nicole reconfigure a Council device. "We have a good reason to learn," Nicole replied. "Our survival." Ryan Collins and his team tested the new weapons at a hidden training ground. The energy rifles could now penetrate Vexnar armor with ease. "We're almost ready," he told his fighters. "The next phase begins soon." In cities across the world, humans prepared for a coordinated counterattack. The resistance had grown from scattered groups into an organized force. Factory workers secretly built components for the new weapons. Farmers hid fighters and supplies. Children carried messages between groups when electronic communication was too risky. Even those who couldn't fight directly found ways to resist. They sabotaged Vexnar equipment, provided false information, or smuggled supplies to those who needed them. As Commander Walsh's fleet prepared for their surprise attack, He sent a message to all resistance groups. Operation Turning Tide begins in 3 days. Stand ready. The Vexnar had invaded expecting a quick victory over primitive humans. Instead, they faced a species that refused to surrender, adapted to every challenge, and was now armed with advanced technology. The real battle for Earth was about to begin. The sun had not yet risen when Operation Turning Tide began. Across the planet, resistance fighters moved into position. For the first time since the invasion, humans were attacking in a coordinated global effort. Colonel Frank Mitchell led a special forces team toward the main Vexnar base in what used to be Washington, D.C. His soldiers carried the new hybrid weapons developed with Council technology. Team Alpha in position, he whispered into his communicator. Similar messages came in from teams worldwide. At exactly 500 hours, the attack began. Mitchell's team disabled the perimeter sensors using technology from Dr. Bennett's lab, then moved silently into the alien compound. Remember, hit their communication center first, Mitchell told his team. Then the power systems. Inside her lab, Dr. Bennett monitored the operation through a network of captured Vexnar communication devices. A dozen screens showed battles taking place across the globe. The virus is ready, she told her team. During the past weeks, they had developed a program that could disrupt Vexnar systems. Uploading now. She pressed a button, sending the virus into the alien network. On her screens, she watched as Vexnar ships and vehicles suddenly lost power or began moving erratically. In orbit, Commander Walsh gave the order to attack. His makeshift fleet had been hiding behind the moon, using Council technology to mask their presence. All ships, engage targets as planned, he ordered. Remember, hit and move. Don't stay in one place long enough for them to lock weapons. Lieutenant Andrea Wright led a squadron of modified fighters. Before the invasion, she had been a test pilot. Now she flew an experimental craft combining human and Council technology. Phoenix Squadron, follow me, she called to her pilots. Target the command ship's communication array. Her fighters swooped toward the massive Vexnar vessel, releasing special missiles designed to penetrate alien shields. The explosions ripped through the enemy ship's outer defenses. Direct hit, she called as the communication array erupted in flames, moving to secondary targets. The Vexnar, caught by surprise, struggled to respond. Their commanders couldn't coordinate without their communication network. For the first time, they faced organized human resistance enhanced with technology they didn't expect humans to possess. In New York, resistance fighters led by Captain Steve Rogers reclaimed the city center. Their new weapons cut through Vexnar armor with ease. They're retreating, someone shouted as the aliens fell back. Similar reports came in from London, Tokyo, Moscow, and other major cities. The tide was turning, just as the operation's name suggested. On the Vexnar command ship, Supreme Commander Zolvar watched in disbelief as reports of defeats flooded in. How is this possible? He demanded. These are primitives. Sir, they're using technology similar to Council designs, reported his science officer. And they've infected our network with some kind of virus. Half our systems are offline. Zolvar's scales darkened with rage. The Council has directly interfered. This violates all treaties. There's something else, the officer added nervously. The humans aren't just using Council technology. They've modified it, improved it in ways we haven't seen before. Their adaptation rate is unprecedented. In space, Commander Walsh's fleet continued to strike Vexnar ships before disappearing again, using hit-and-run tactics that frustrated the alien commanders. They don't know how to handle these tactics, Walsh told his officers. Their military doctrine is based on overwhelming force and direct confrontation. They expect enemies to follow the same rules. On Earth, Colonel Mitchell's team successfully captured the Washington Command Center. As his soldiers secured the facility, he found something unexpected: a direct communication link to the Vexnar homeworld. Dr. Bennett needs to see this, he said. This could give us access to their entire network. By sunset, humans had reclaimed significant territories across the planet. The Vexenar, who had expected to face primitive resistance, found themselves struggling against an enemy that combined alien technology with human ingenuity and determination. On their homeworld, the Vexenar High Command received disturbing news. The supposedly easy conquest of Earth had turned into a military disaster. Urgent messages were sent to all their fleets. Send reinforcements immediately. The humans are not what we expected. Maria Alvarez stared at the captured Vexenar officer through the one-way glass. Before the invasion, she had been an intelligence specialist with the FBI. Now she led the team questioning their prisoner. "He's been in there for 6 hours," said her assistant, Dan Foster. "Still no useful information." "He'll talk," Maria said confidently. "We just need the right approach." The alien, identified as Sub-Commander Krevtar, had been captured during the liberation of Chicago. He was the highest-ranking Vexenar prisoner humans had taken so far. Maria entered the room and sat across from the alien. His scaled skin looked dull, and his 4 eyes blinked nervously. "Let's try something different," she said. "I won't ask about your military plans today. Instead, tell me why you came to Earth in the first place." The alien looked surprised by the question. After a long pause, he spoke. "It was not my decision. The Confederation High Command ordered the invasion." "But why?" Maria pressed. "We hadn't attacked you. We didn't even know you existed until recently." Krevtar's eyes narrowed. "You were a threat." "A threat? We couldn't even leave our own solar system effectively." The alien made a strange sound that might have been a laugh. "Not yet, but soon. Your development rate is unnatural. Our scientists study your history. In less than 300 years, you advanced from simple machines to space travel. No other known species has developed so quickly." Maria leaned forward. "So you attacked us because we were learning too fast. The Confederation has ruled this sector for thousands of years. Our models predicted that within 50 years, humans would develop interstellar capabilities. Within 100, you might challenge our dominance. The High Command decided on a preemptive strike." As Maria continued questioning the alien, a decisive battle was taking place in orbit. Commander Walsh's forces engaged the Vexenar flagship, a massive vessel that had just arrived with reinforcements. "Target their engines," Walsh ordered. "All ships, focus fire." His fleet, though smaller, moved with greater coordination. The Council technology allowed them to predict Vexenar maneuvers, giving humans a crucial advantage. Lieutenant Andrea Wright led her squadron through a gap in the alien defenses. "We're in position. Firing now." Their specialized weapons tore through the flagship's shields. Explosions rippled across the massive ship's hull. "Direct hit on their main power core," Andrea reported. "Their systems are failing." On the Vexenar homeworld, the ruling council received the shocking news. Their flagship had been destroyed by human forces. Worlds that had been forced to join the Confederation were beginning to question Vexenar power. "How could primitives defeat our most advanced warship?" asked one council member. "The humans have help from the Galactic Council," said another. "But that doesn't explain everything. They're adapting too quickly, learning our weaknesses, exploiting gaps in our tactics that other species never found." The council leader's scales darkened with worry. "We have lost 8 colony worlds to rebellion in the past month. They've heard about our defeats on Earth. If we cannot control one primitive planet, how can we maintain our empire?" Back on Earth, President Powell met with Commander Ilara of the Galactic Council in a secure underground facility. It was the first official meeting between Earth's government and the Council. "Your people have exceeded all expectations," Ilara said. "No species has ever repelled a full Vexenar invasion force." "We had help from you," President Powell acknowledged. "We provided tools," Ilara corrected. "Your people did something remarkable with them. The Vexenar attack with overwhelming force and expect surrender. When that failed, they had no effective strategy against your guerrilla tactics. What happens now?" asked the president. Ilara's 4 eyes blinked slowly. The Vexnar Confederation is facing internal rebellion. Several of their subject worlds have broken away. They can no longer spare forces for Earth. Your planet has essentially won this war. As news of the flagship's destruction spread across Earth, celebrations broke out in liberated cities. After nearly a year of occupation, the invaders were retreating. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger than ever. 2 years after the Vexnar invasion began, the last alien ships retreated from Earth's solar system. Humans watched on screens worldwide as the remaining enemy vessels jumped into hyperspace, never to return. President Catherine Powell stood at the podium in the rebuilt United Nations building in New York. Representatives from every nation on Earth had gathered to hear her speak. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for humanity, she said, her voice strong and clear. We faced extinction and survived. We were invaded by beings with technology far beyond our own, yet we prevailed. The room erupted in applause. Many people had tears in their eyes as they remembered the hard-fought battles of the past 2 years. But we did not win alone, President Powell continued. We had help from friends among the stars. And now, it is time to take our place in the wider galactic community. The large doors at the side of the chamber opened. Commander Ilara of the Galactic Council entered, followed by representatives of 12 different alien species. The crowd gasped at the variety of beings, some with multiple limbs, others with skin of blue, green, or gold. All were members of the Council. The Galactic Council recognizes Earth as a sovereign power, Ilara announced. We invite human representatives to join our assembly as full members. In a laboratory near what had once been the front lines of the war, Dr. Nicole Bennett and her team worked on a new project. The room was filled with a mixture of human and alien technology. The final calculations look good, said Carl Dawson, checking readings on a screen. The drive should be stable. Nicole nodded, looking at the engine they had created. It combined Vexnar power systems, Council navigation technology, and human engineering innovations. Earth's first true interstellar vessel, she said proudly. And we built it in just 6 months. Outside the lab, construction crews worked on the ship that would house the new drive. It was named Defiance *, a reminder of humanity's stand against overwhelming odds. Admiral Adam Russell, formerly captain of the Horizon *, walked through the shipyard inspecting the progress. He had been chosen to command this historic mission. How soon until she's ready? He asked Chief Engineer Patricia Garcia. 3 weeks, Patricia replied. We're working around the clock. Everyone wants to see her fly. In Washington, D.C., Ryan Collins received a medal for his service during the war. The former resistance leader now headed Earth's new defense force, training soldiers to use the hybrid weapons and tactics that had proven so effective against the Vexnar. The best defense is knowledge, he told the graduating class of officers. We know what's out there now. We won't be caught unprepared again. Across the planet, cities were being rebuilt, but they were different now, incorporating alien technology and designed with planetary defense in mind. Humanity had learned harsh lessons about the universe and was determined to be ready if threats appeared again. In orbit, a new network of defense satellites provided early warning of any approaching vessels. Some were built with technology given freely by the Council. Others used captured Vexnar systems, modified and improved by human engineers. On the day the Defiance was launched, people around the world watched a live stream. Admiral Russell stood on the bridge, looking at his crew, the best pilots, scientists, and officers Earth had to offer. Begin launch sequence, he ordered. The massive ship rose smoothly from Earth, its new engines glowing with blue energy. In minutes, it reached orbit. An hour later, it passed the moon. All systems nominal, reported his first officer. We're ready for the jump to hyperspace. Russell took a deep breath. Take us out. The stars blurred as the Defiance made the jump, beginning humanity's first official mission to the Council homeworld. In the Grand Council chamber millions of light-years from Earth, Ilara addressed the assembled representatives of hundreds of species. The Vexnar delegates sat in their section, their numbers reduced, their influence diminished. "Let this serve as a reminder to all species," Ilara said. "Technological advancement alone does not determine a civilization's strength. The human spirit, their adaptability, determination, and courage, these are forces more powerful than any weapon. We welcome them as equals. The Vexnar chose to make them enemies. They have proven which approach was wiser."